What's up, Internet World? We're the News 19 Nerds. I'm Leroy.
I'm Michael.
And we are here to review, wait for it, I want to make sure I get this right, because this is a long title. Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn.
Yep. Got a rash going on my arm. It's interesting.
Sir?
Just saying. I don't think it's coronavirus. I'm saying like I got a rash or something.
SARS or whatever it is you got.
I don't know. Yeah.
This might be our last video.
This is the...
when you get quarantined.
This is the semi-sequel.
They say it's not a sequel to
I mean, you can say that, but there's a lot of stuff happening in this movie that makes it feel like it's connected to the Suicide Squad.
It is cool.
world.
It is connected. There are direct references to the movie.
Okay, maybe it's not a sequel, but it definitely happened after Suicide Squad.
Okay, so this is the thing. It is within the same DCE worlds of DC. Mm-hmm. It is in the same universe as Suicide Squad, as Justice League, Wonder Woman, all that other stuff. Mm-hmm. But DC has said that this is not a sequel to Suicide Squad.
Okay.
This is. I look at this movie as this is a breakup movie. To me, this is literally a eat the ice cream girlfriend breakup movie. Just elevated to a whole nother level.
To a level of Harleen Quinzel.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
So non-spoilers first.
Of course. That's how we do this thing, man.
I know how you, and I'm just saying for new people who don't know how we do whatever.
Hey, if you knew, we don't do spoilers in the beginning.
Yeah.
For you. Just you.
Yeah.
Whoever's new.
Yeah, for also all new people, you can always find us here on YouTube, also Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, WOTX.com, and we'll be plugging that throughout. I'm going to try something new. We'll see what happens.
Well, supposedly the analytics say you go for a little while, and 10 minutes in, you remind them to do it.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So I like the movie overall. It moves in terms of stuff's happening here, and you're here like, wait, what's going on? And then what? It's funny, and I can't remember the video. Audience, you go back and watch all the videos so you can tell us. But we've talked about other movies before when how their plots move.
Venom, terribly.
Yeah, but it wasn't even Venom. It's just
the first 30 minutes are forgettable in Venom. I'm not gonna say Venom's a bad movie. The first 30 minutes I could have done without. Get me to the lobster tank.
Okay, great. But not even Venom, just other movies we talked about how they kind of move around and it's hard to follow.
A timeline.
Yeah, just like it doesn't necessarily move from A to B in like a straight progressive line. And this movie does some jumping around.
Ooh, does it?
And sometimes it's kind of like, what's going on? But I feel like I don't know what they did, but this movie makes that work where other movies don't make that work.
Yeah. So if you watch The Irishman, can't talk. The Irishman does a flashback within a flashback. Ooh. I'm going to go on a limb and say it kind of works. My only problem with it is I just didn't care. and I hate to say that about a Martin Scorsese movie, but it's just like, man, Irishman, it's like, that's a whole other video. You're right, it does do a lot of jumping around, but I think part of it is because the way this movie works is because of the narrator. And the reason why there's a lot of jumping around. Harley Quinn, much like Todd Phillips' Joker, is a dysfunctional storyteller. The narrator is Harley Quinn. I'm not comparing the two, but if you watch Joker, Todd Phillips tells you some of this stuff happens, some of this stuff doesn't happen, because he can't be trusted. Harley Quinn can't be trusted, but it's in a different way. She's telling things out of order because she was remembering things out of order. Yeah. Because she's like, oh wait, this part, and so I think that's why it works, because you go into it knowing you're dealing with someone who is unreliable.
I will say, there's a couple of movie logic things you have to just put on the back burner.
Oh yeah.
You wonder why you don't see certain people in the movie based on where they are, and you were like, why aren't we doing this? Why isn't whatever? And you're like, okay, that kind of got me, and I'll talk about that more in spoilers. But once I was able to put that in my, get on board, I'm like, yeah, this is
because you don't see Batman. Let's just say that.
Okay. Cool.
That's not a spoiler.
Some people.
No, DC said you will not see Batman in this movie.
Some people don't read DC and watch DC, but okay.
I'm letting you know. That's not a spoiler. I'm just letting you know.
To you, it's not a spoiler.
It's not
you
a spoiler.
Can't say that.
They literally said in the movie.
Not
in the
everybody
trailer,
is going to watch and listen to DC.
If you didn't know that going in, there's something wrong with you. That's not on us. Batman is not in it. This guy ain't in the movie. Mm-hmm. He's referenced. He's talked about. Don't see him. Mm-hmm. That's not a spoiler.
We'll agree to disagree.
Okay. I want people to know that going in.
So with that, once I'm able to put that in my mind, I'm like, okay, this is cool. I'm on board for what they do. I really like, because so far we've only seen Harley Quinn in 2 movies, 2 live action movies.
We've only seen one person out of this movie.
Huh?
Out of this movie, we've only seen one person.
Sure.
Yeah.
That wasn't what I was getting at. But okay, no.
What were you getting at?
What I'm saying is, we've seen Harley Quinn, but my point is, we've only seen her in 2 different modes. We've seen her in Suicide Squad mode, and we've seen her now in this movie, because we've seen her in Suicide Squad. So, she is.
Are you saying that she was different in each movie?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh, see, I'm okay.
Yes.
Ooh, okay. I did not.
I felt like she was a different person. Who was Suicide Squad written by? Was that written and directed by David Ayer, or did he only direct it?
I know he directed. I'm not sure if he wrote it, but let me check. Well, he kind of wrote it, and then he got a lot of studio notes.
Yeah. That movie,
because he got a lot of studio notes in that one.
Yeah, because he talked about other stuff he wanted to do or whatever.
And the things that the
movie
studio
definitely
made him do.
came from it feels like it came from a male perspective in terms of how Harley Quinn was objectified at some points in the first movie. Like that one point where she gets naked, or she does undress in front of them. You don't see it, of course, but it's referenced how
she wrote it. I mean, he wrote it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
This movie treats Harley Quinn and all the females differently overall.
Okay.
And it's written and directed by females.
So I have to disagree with you that I feel like she's the same person. Mm-hmm. I feel like we just there's growth in this movie you do not see in the original in Suicide Squad.
Okay.
For me, there's a scene in this movie where, excuse me, and it happens in the beginning. You see it in the trailer. She's getting over her breakup. Mm-hmm. She is not. The problem with a lot of these characters is that we romanticize them because we like them in the cartoon or comic book form, but it's like, and even in Suicide Squad, she says we're the bad guys. Mm-hmm. These are bad people. If they lived in the real world, you would be scared if you saw the Joker coming. Mm-hmm. The Clown Prince is nobody to hang out with. It's one of those things where you're laughing, but you're crying because you're scared. Mm-hmm. That is Harley Quinn. That's the person she's sided with. Mm-hmm. I feel like you get a lot of that. I do think that she was objectified because of who she was, but I do think that she was the same person. I just feel like her character was given more to work with because there were so many different people. In Suicide Squad, you're introducing Killer Croc, Deadshot, Amanda Waller. She wasn't given a fair enough time. I think she was still the same person. Okay. So that's just me.
To me, in Suicide Squad, there are times where you can't tell if the persona that she's playing is an act. To me, it felt like, is she pretending to be someone who has mental issues, or does she really have mental issues? I feel like we got a better understanding of her in this movie. And granted, it is her movie, so she has more time.
Do you think it's the writing, or do you think it was her acting? Because to me, the standouts to me in Suicide Squad are 3 people. Number 1, Viola Davis. As Amanda Waller, perfect. Don't recast her. She needs to be back in 2. Mm-hmm. 2, Margot Robbie. 3, for me, was Will Smith. Yeah. And it wasn't until I saw the director's cut that I was like, okay, I'm on board with Will Smith. Because I was not on board with Will Smith being Deadshot until maybe my second viewing of the movie.
I think Margot Robbie was one of the standouts for Suicide Squad. I think most people would agree with that, which is probably why it led to this movie. Mm-hmm. If people didn't like her, they probably wouldn't have done it. And if Warner Brothers didn't have the confidence that she could lead a movie, they probably wouldn't have done it.
But yeah, she
I think she did. I think she did a good job in Suicide Squad. I think she did a remarkable job in this. This is definitely her movie. One of the down points I would say about the movie is it's her movie to the detriment of everybody else, because I would have liked more from other characters for sure.
Yes,
and you don't get a lot of time with them, and they're good. I would like to see more of them. I think they are.
I have a bone to pick with 2 characters, but go on.
Okay. Yeah. I like the characters. And I want to see more of them.
Yeah. When people ask me, do I like this movie? I went into it. If you watch the trailers, shameless plug. We have trailer reactions, so go watch that. The first trailer reaction, I was not on board.
No.
I can honestly say that. It wasn't until the second one that me and Lauren watched. Were you there for the second one? Mm-hmm. So me and Lauren watched the second one.
Didn't there one of them that you didn't get up?
No, that was one of them I got up.
So both of them are up?
Yeah, both of them are up. It was the one I had to take down.
Okay.
It was a trailer reaction I got up that I had to take down that me and Avery were in.
Okay.
And I'm trying to remember which one it was.
Zombieland 2?
Yes, because I couldn't get the audio matched up.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you guys. If you ever hear some audio problems or there's an issue, put it in the comments. We actually read those because I put it up and there was like a part that I didn't hear and you guys heard it, caught it, let me know. I was like, oh, let me take this down. Man, that pissed me off. I really, there's something I want to say, but I can't say it. I got on board once I saw the second trailer. Mm-hmm. So I was 50-50 on this. This movie is a loud, beautiful mess, and it freaking works.
It does.
And I did not, honestly, I was of the impression that this is probably not going to work. I know the characters I have envisioned in my head. I know the characters that I've seen on different formats and different genre, or different formats and different mediums, and I already had cast who I wanted. Mm-hmm. Do not make that mistake. It's going to make it hard for you to like this movie if you do that. Go into it knowing I'm going to watch a version of these characters. Mm-hmm. And if you do that, you'll have a good time. That's the biggest problem I think fans make, going into a movie thinking, and some of our commenters said it, and I wanted to see the movie and then go back and respond. The characters in this movie are real people. Mm-hmm. As real as they can possibly make them in this outlandish Gotham City. So the things that they do and the things that how they act is according to how this movie is around Harley Quinn. Mm-hmm. And for that, I can say I actually really enjoyed this movie. And I really was hesitant thinking I was not going to like it. I thought I was going to be like, man, I'm going to be a part of that group that tears this movie down. Mm-hmm. I am not. I unabashedly like and love this film.
I think it's interesting, at least for me, going back to Suicide Squad. When the trailer came out for Suicide Squad, I enjoyed it a lot. And I think the consensus was that the trailer was really cool. Mm-hmm. And then the movie came out and people were like, oh man, the trailer, the way they cut it with the music and the fast editing really worked, and it didn't work for the movie.
The funniest thing is, the trailer was so good that Warner Brothers let the company who cut the trailer recut the movie. Hmm. That's one of the things that Suicide Squad, like, I really wish on director's cuts and on movies, little supplemental content that they do are documentaries about a movie. Because I would really like to know what was going on, because David Ayer has said, you got what you got. Mm-hmm. And Warner Brothers is notoriously a notes-sending company, not trusting their talent. We've seen this before in other DC films that they have tinkered with. Mm-hmm. Justice League, Batman versus Superman. They are notorious for that, so I don't fault David Ayer too much for that. Mm-hmm. But I also understand that that trailer was cut based on that footage, and I would have liked to have seen what his movie looked like without them saying, oh wow, that's cool, let him do it. Mm-hmm. Instead of going, what's that phrase, go with the person when you go to
you go with the one that brought you.
Yes. I would have liked to have seen that, because that's what got,
or stay with the one that brought you, whatever you want to do.
That's what got the that's why we got the movie we got. Warner Brothers fell in love with that company who edited the trailer and was like, you want to edit the movie?
Mm-hmm. So I say all that to say, it was the opposite for me with this movie and trailer. The trailer, I like the trailer more than you did, but I still wasn't on board for the Harley Quinn trailer. Like, it's cool, I'll give it a shot. But the movie definitely surprised me, and I found it interesting. The trailer love versus the movie love. Overall highlights, Harley Quinn's great. I liked Ewan McGregor as Black Mask.
He was amazing.
I enjoyed him. He was, kind of campy and over the top, which is what you want, I guess. He'd had a good time.
He might have been the standout in this movie.
Okay.
Outside of Margot Robbie, he probably was one of the best. Like, I enjoyed watching him on screen, and he is a psycho in this movie.
I also liked Chris Messina as Victor Zsasz. I liked the dynamic that they had, at least the reverence that Zsasz had for Black Mask, which was interesting to me. And it's just cool because I know Chris Messina has done a bunch of stuff, I'm sure, but I only knew him from the Mindy Project. So it was cool to see him in something totally different.
The Newsroom.
He's in the whole thing?
Yeah.
Dang, I don't even remember.
He's James Fonda's son. He's the one that gets into it with Sam Waterston about the network.
Wow, I don't even remember. Okay.
I just love the Newsroom.
Okay.
I watch it every now and then to, give me hope.
Okay. But yeah, I like that. I think the choreography was really cool.
You know who did that? Chad Stahelski.
Yeah, John Wick guy.
Yep.
This is the first superhero movie, and I've been asking for this forever, where you really get to see the fighting. In terms of, they don't do as many cuts as other superhero movies do. The Marvel movies are great, but the choreography for the close-up fighting isn't as great because they do so many cuts so they can hide actors not doing stuff. In this, I feel like I'm seeing these actors pulling these moves off, and I don't know where they do the cuts, but I feel like they're doing a lot of their own stunts. It's really cool.
First time we didn't get the bicycle leg around the neck taking down a dude.
Oh, you mean like a Hurricane Rana type thing?
Yeah, whatever that is.
Yeah.
First time. Thank you, Birds of Prey.
We didn't get that, but we got variations on it.
The problem I have is the Black Widow bicycle, whatever that move is. I'm tired of seeing it.
Right. It's like if you're a female, that's the only move.
That's the only move you can do.
At least movies make it appear that's the only move you can do.
Yeah, it's like if you're a woman, I watched Ronda Rousey fight. Ronda Rousey. Yeah,
it's either you're either a Black Widow type and you do that like a spider spinny move, or you're like a Gina Carano, Ronda Rousey type and you're like boxing. That's it. But
there's other ways that women can fight.
Yeah.
Watch some MMA, guys. This is what I will say. I enjoyed it. I took my standouts are Margot Robbie, number one, Ewan McGregor, perfect, amazing. I thought he was great. We'll get into spoilers. I like Chris Messina, so I am biased, but I did not like his ass.
Okay.
I liked him in his interaction with Ewan McGregor. I wanted something different, and I didn't get it.
Okay.
And so I got, and maybe they were going. I felt Chris Messina was more of a creep than anything, and Zsasz is a serial killer. And I did not get that, and that's what I wanted. I didn't want like a Dexter serial killer. I'm not looking for that, but I wanted somebody who, when he walks into a room, there's a chill, and that's not what I got. And so, and that's just me. Again, going into this movie wanting certain iterations of these characters, but other than that, I really enjoyed the movie. I would see it again. I look at a movie as whether or not it's good or bad, or does it have something to offer. If I would buy it on digital, physical copy, I would buy probably a steelbook copy of this movie. I really enjoyed it. It's one of my top movies. Going into 2020, this is, to me, sets the tone. If DC does a lot of their movies like this, they have a shot at bringing their characters to life, because I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Spoiler time?
So right now we're about to do spoilers. Come back here after you see it. Watch the spoiler thing. Tell us what you think.
Hey, I'll be honest. You can watch it now. If you want to spoil it yourself, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you spoilers.
I'm a non-spoiler guy. Like, I want to go into it with as least amount of information as possible. But I did want to say that. So let's do spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I say Batman is not a spoiler is because we have heard from over and over again. Batman is not in this. And
you think them old people that were in your movie theater knew that?
There were like 2 people in my theater.
Them 2 old people in your movie theater knew that.
I will say this. I want there to be a sequel. Me and you talked about it. I don't see this movie getting a sequel. Only because the things we like a lot of times don't get greenlit. And I don't know if this movie is going to get enough people in it because this is a different kind of superhero movie. Okay. It's rated R. It is violent. It is vulgar. I'm here for it. I loved it. There were 3 people, including me, in my theater to see this at noon.
But we do know our movies can work. Comic books.
Oh yeah.
Logan, Deadpool,
yeah.
Joker.
So that's why I said as much as I want this to have a sequel, there's a lot going against it. It was certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. I know to some people that doesn't mean anything. But I really enjoyed it. My problems with the movie were the same thing you pointed out. The lack of development in Juicy Smollett's sister.
Journey?
I said what I said.
Journey Smollett-Bell?
Yeah.
Whatever? Yeah.
Renee Montoya's character by Rosie Perez I thought was done well. I thought that
So who does she become?
She's Detective Montoya.
Right. No, but what I'm saying is...
She's Detective Montoya.
Right. Who does she become?
Nobody.
I thought she became somebody.
Nope. She in the comics she becomes a question.
That's what I was asking.
But she doesn't become the question in Birds of Prey.
Okay.
So she doesn't. So the original Birds of Prey is, and correct me if I'm wrong. Quite sure the internet will. You never let me down. Batgirl, Huntress, and Black Canary. Notice who you didn't have in there.
Harley Quinn.
And
Renee Montoya.
No. Well, her too, but...
Cassandra Cain?
Batgirl.
Oh, sorry.
So,
I didn't know where you were going.
Yeah, I was like... All right. So, I knew we weren't going to get those characters. But I did like the way those characters were fleshed out. I just would have liked to spend more time with them. I took a little issue with Huntress, played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead, only because if that was the route they were going, they didn't give me enough to fall in love with it. It wasn't until the 3rd act that I was like, oh, now I get it. And I'm like, oh man, that's a fun character. The way they went with it, that was so fun.
Because it seems like the world is, in this world, the environment or whatever, everybody's like, who is this bow and arrow killer? Who's this crossbow killer? And they're feared by this person. But she seems almost kind of awkward.
She is awkward.
Which is really cool.
She's socially awkward because
she
spent her whole life training to be an assassin, not talk to people.
Yeah, so she's not like she's trying to be a badass, and you see her trying to do that in the mirror.
Yeah.
To get up the courage to be I am a huntress. I liked her character.
And to me that was a waste because we didn't get that. Like
we didn't get a lot
until
of
the last 15, 20 minutes of the movie she really got her time to shine.
I think this movie also
go ahead.
I think this movie does a good job of pacing. I didn't feel like there was too much of a lull for the most part. I'm like, this movie's moving pretty well.
And there was a lot where I was like, man, are they going to like slow down a little bit?
Yeah, nah.
It moved.
I feel like once Harley snorted the coke in the air, everything's just moving. I feel like, are we moving too?
This movie was visual coke.
Yeah, man, it was great.
I really like, and I said this before because I not to say your point wasn't valid. To me, I felt like this movie really got to show off growth in her character because you talked about she was objectified, she was this. I felt like they almost kind of like, and this is going to be weird, almost kind of like Clone Wars does for the prequels. Birds of Prey makes Suicide Squad better because it makes her, it shows you that she is a terrible person. Because she's a terrible person in this. And it not justifies, but it shows you why she's a terrible person and why you saw a different side of her in that movie than in this one. Because, so if you start from the beginning, that opening was amazing. The the opening of the movie with the cartoon
Yeah.
vignette,
Yeah.
that was amazing. So you get a quick origin of Harley Quinn right up to the breakup. Throughout the entire movie, you're laughing, you fall in love with this character, but you see her being, oh yeah, you're terrible.
Yeah.
Because when she was with the Joker, she was allowed to indulge anything she wanted.
Yeah.
Because she was provided cover. Now that she no longer has that cover and she sees the effect and the damage she's had on people, and that she's a terrible person, she literally says in the movie, I'm a terrible person.
Yeah.
There's a reckoning for that. So I like that. That's why I said I disagree with that point, only because I feel like this movie kind of shapes up some things. That's why she's a mess in that movie. She goes from being siding with Will Smith and siding with the Joker because she's not her own person. She literally is. And if you watch the director's cut, they expound more about like when she's with the Joker and like the vat of chemicals. There's a longer scene, and there's the song from Kalani is performing, and you see more of the interaction between the two, which fills out the movie. And I can understand why Jared Leto was like, yeah, that movie did not give me what I wanted because I shot so much.
Where Batman at?
This is why I like the movie.
Your city is destroyed.
But
Ace Chemicals is gone.
But this is
There is a gang war all over the place. Batman ain't got like, ain't got nothing.
But that's what I love about the movie.
Anybody got like a bat? Anybody flash a bat signal?
But this is why I love this movie. And this is why I said it's not a spoiler. Going into this movie, you understand, and this is what the comics, the cartoons, the video games makes it seem like. Batman is a god, and he is omnipresent. He knows everything. He's not. He's just a dude, a rich dude with a lot of gimmicks, a lot of toys, and cameras everywhere.
Yes.
And the thing is, I like that because in this world, there's other stuff going on. So I like that Victor Zsasz was hanging out with the Black Mask because you didn't see the Joker. You didn't see Batman. You didn't see any of the Caped Crusaders people, which I'm happy for. I'm glad we didn't get to see any of that.
To me, like, it's cool. I didn't need it. It was just weird to be like, there's like no type of police or nothing. And I get it. He can't be everywhere. And I would have bought it more if maybe this movie had taken place over the course of like 48 hours or something. But it's at least a week.
No.
It's definitely at least a week because she says a week ago.
Oh.
So we know at least
from
a
the
week.
explosion.
Right. We know
okay,
at least this movie over from whatever the earliest point is to the ending point is at least 1 week.
Yeah. Okay.
Batman ain't show up at least once in a week.
And that's what I loved.
Crazy.
And that's what I loved about it because my thing is, Batman always has something going on. The dude barely sleeps.
Yeah.
So whatever is going on has got to be bigger than whatever Harley Quinn was doing.
Okay.
And that's why I was like, this showed Gotham, a different side of Gotham, what it's like to actually live in the city. To the point where the Joker's that dude who lives in the city, but you don't ever see him. He's always doing something else. There are other people in the city hanging out. There's other criminals. There's other crime families. And I enjoyed seeing that. Batman is one of my top favorite characters. Number probably 2. It goes back and forth between 1, 2, and 3. Sometimes he's all 3. But I was happy not to see him.
Okay.
I was happy not to see the Joker. One little thing I noticed though, the Joker interpretation that they showed was not Jared Leto's. It was like everything that they showed about the Joker looked more like Jack Nicholson than any other Joker we have seen.
Yeah.
He literally looked.
I'll give you that.
He looked more like Mark Hamill's Joker from Batman: The Animated Adventures than any. And if you had to look at him, you're like, Jack Nicholson. That's the thing I got.
Okay.
I was fine with that.
Yeah.
I was like, continue.
Okay. My only other gripe really is, and it's a small thing, but at some points, and I'm not a screenwriter, so I don't know how to make this work. But some points when they had to get across, it was kind of clunky how they had to get the exposition across. And the person who did it more than anybody, which sucked because I wish she was able to do more stuff, was Rosie Perez as Renee Montoya.
See, I liked her because it was clunky, and they were like, "Why does she sound like a cop in a bad movie?" And you're like, "Yes." I enjoyed that.
To me, I feel like that's like pandering, like where you, and I think we talked about this before. Remember that game that came out, the Matt Hazard game?
The what game?
It's a video game. It's called Matt Hazard something, and it's a game where they make fun of bad video games, but the game is also bad too. And they were like, "Isn't this bad?" It's like, yeah, but you pointing it out doesn't change the fact that it's bad.
See, I like that. My biggest gripe, and again, and I say this not because I didn't like the movie or my biggest gripe was a storytelling technique that they used or how they told the story. I'm a fan of Cassandra Cain, so I did not like the pickpocket.
So I have a question.
Version. Go ahead.
Who, aside from this, how is she normally seen in comics?
Oh, she's a badass.
Because I've heard she is completely different, right?
Cassandra Cain probably can beat Batman. Cassandra Cain is so to give you a backstory about Cassandra Cain, for those of you who, some of you already know, some of you probably point out, well, she's so whatever. Cassandra Cain was raised by an assassin named Cain. Okay. Last name Cain. He raised his daughter to never talk so that she could interpret and learn martial arts and to be a deadly assassin. And her only way she could interpret is through violence. So she takes on the mantle of Batgirl during the No Man Land's storyline after Cataclysm. And basically after Batman disappears, Bruce Wayne is feared to be dead, all the costume superheroes had left Gotham City. There's a girl running around in a Batgirl suit helping people. The Gotham City is split up into factions, and she shows up, she's helping people, kicking ass and taking names. You can't even see her face. And everybody's like, who is this? Batman takes her under his wing, and throughout all the iterations basically tries to keep her from killing the entire world because she's that badass of an assassin. Okay. So she in the comic, she's learning to talk. She's learning to interact, kind of like Huntress. So Cassandra Cain, and honestly, that was my biggest problem. Cassandra Cain is what the Huntress is.
But isn't the Huntress also like that too?
She's like, but Cassandra Cain is the one who can't interact with people. The Huntress is badass, but the Huntress is like, hey, how you doing? Okay. Cassandra Cain is the one like, hey. It's like, gotcha. Throat chop you and be like, you okay? Yeah. Daddy, it's not moving. Okay. So that's the problem that I had with this movie, where I liked where they went with Huntress. I would have, because what I would have liked to have seen in this movie is, yes, she's the pickpocket. I understand that. What I would have liked to have seen was when Harley Quinn was saying, I'm a terrible person, Cassandra Cain is the one telling, basically, the one she has to change for. I would have liked that Cassandra Cain was the unstoppable assassin who would kill a person in a minute, and Harley's like, oh.
I don't want to become that.
Yes, and I need to help you so you don't, because I don't want you to become me, and I don't want to become you. Okay. And that's what I would have liked to have seen. And that's just a personal thing. That's why I said that's my biggest gripe. But that's also because of my prejudice against the thing that I want to not do, that I want everybody else not to do. Take your preconceived notions out of it. Go see the movie on its own merits. On its own merits, it's great. I do love it. I thought the girl, Ella Joy,
I think she has 3 names.
Ella Joy Basco? Yep. Ella J Basco did an amazing job. She was great as the Cassandra Cain pickpocket. I would just have liked to seen Cassandra Cain, the assassin who could have fought Batman, because that would have been our, fever dream of, can this little girl beat Batman? That's just me.
Shout out to Ali Wong. Just her short little role as the assistant DA. That's great. I love Rosie Perez. I've always loved Rosie Perez and Jungle Fever. What White Man Can't Jump.
Don't forget the Lottery movie with Nicolas Cage. She was an overbearing wife when he won the lottery.
Yeah.
He ends up with the waitress.
So it was just great to see Rosie Perez being in the movie, and I think she did a great job.
The Weed movie. She was the cop.
The Weed movie.
Pineapple Express.
Pineapple Express. Yeah. Okay.
Can't forget that. That I'm gonna be honest with you, that might be her best role.
Yeah.
She was hilarious.
But yeah, it was great to see her, and I think all the
friend of the show.
Yes, friend of the show, Rosie Perez. Please come and talk to us. I think everybody did a great job overall.
And see, that's my biggest gripe. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, I think, is a phenomenal actress.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she wasn't given enough.
Yeah.
I feel like Juicy Smollett's sister.
Her name is Journey.
It's fine. Journey Bell. Journey Smollett-Bell. I felt like she was given a lot to work with. I thought there's a moment between her and Rosie Perez. Rosie Perez was not given a great line in that situation, but Journey killed it. That scene in the hallway.
Oh, when you didn't come save my mother or whatever?
That right there, I was like, see, we could have had more of that.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like Elizabeth Winstead's character, Huntress.
Yeah, we didn't get enough of her.
Because that interaction when she was like, I like how you kick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and the interaction between all of the women was amazing. The problem was, and it's the problem that every superhero origin movie has. Introducing characters is hard when you don't, because you're trying to figure out of all this lore, knowledge, and history, what do you put in? Mm-hmm. What do you take out?
Yeah.
So that's hard. I will say that I think, and this is a hot take, I told you earlier, I think this movie was easier, the plot line was easier to follow and more cohesive, even though it was all disjointed, than Captain America Civil War.
Okay.
I'm just going to say...
So you said that to me before, and I was like, interesting.
Only because when you think about Baron Zemo, what he did, you're like, wait, what? When you break down what Baron Zemo... you break you're like, how did you know that was going to work?
I think that was funny going back to... That was 2016, right? Yeah. That movie, and also Batman v Superman... It was funny how... Well, it was funny. They both came out 2016 or, similar times or whatever.
Yeah, because remember, Captain America kicked Batman vs. Superman.
Right. And they dealt with warring factions within, you had your Captain America versus Iron Man, you had your Batman v Superman. Mm-hmm. They both dealt with parent issues in different ways.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they both... But they had similar themes and stuff, right? You the warring factions, the parent issues. You had the genius mastermind to make stuff happen. And in both cases, just like... A lot of stuff had to happen in the right way for Zemo's plan to work and also for Lex Luthor's plan to work.
And I feel like Zemo's plan, if you look at the movie, you're like, this is an enjoyable movie. But when you break down the plot itself, what Zemo did and what had to happen, it was like a perfect storm.
Yeah.
In this movie, it was a perfect storm. Harley is telling you, I didn't plan that. She literally tells you, that's just dumb luck. Mm-hmm. And I think that was... the difference in these movies, and that's why I said is it a hot take? Yes, I'm quite sure you guys are DC sucks and Marvel's the greatest. Whatever. I just feel like in this movie, the way the movie is structured and how Harley Margot Robbie tells the story, it works better. Only because when you're watching it and you go back and watch Civil War, and I love Civil War, I would say. The Captain America movies get better, and when you look at trilogies, Captain America's trilogy rivals the Nolan trilogy. They're neck and neck, depending on which movie you take and how you break it down. Both of their number 2 movies are some of the best superhero movies ever. Mm-hmm. The third movie, Batman Rises, Dark Knight Rises. I mean, there's some problems. And that's what I say Captain America Civil War. Great film, just that Baron Zemo mission report. Like, you had to do a lot to get to that. Yeah. So that's why I said this one was a little easier to follow as far as, like, it makes more sense. Mm-hmm. But
going back more to the choreography, the way
Amazing.
that not Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie moved it was like a dance.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because I know you have dance fighting.
Death.
You have capoeira. It wasn't capoeira. It was something else. She just moved gracefully, but was still violent and impactful. It was really beautiful. And I don't know what the word is I want to say. It was my jaw definitely dropped a couple times to see the way she would move around people. And they did something with the hits. Again, not cutting away and showing these hits, or filming it so that the hits looked real, and like bone crunching was really, really nice.
I kind of want to hit somebody with a bat now.
I tell you, man, it was like, I just need a bat. That choreography was great. Her flipping between hands.
I'll tell you
people.
what. Y'all mess with these women if you want to. If you see a woman with a bat coming your way, go the other way.
Yeah.
Because she has watched Harley Quinn and Birds of Prey, and she's gonna mess you up.
And none of the fights were the same.
No.
They all had different moves and everything. So it's not like they kept doing the same moves. That was really cool. And it was weird because in the trailer I was like, these fights look weird. And maybe it's because, this is what it looks like when you don't cut away from stuff. Maybe that's what it was.
Well, but also it was cut like it's a fever dream. It literally, there were moments in this movie where you were like, is this real? And you realize, that's what they're doing with that. And when it's cut together in a trailer, this is a movie that honestly it's going to be very hard to cut it up to make a cohesive trailer. It just looks like it looks like kid threw paint on the wall when you think about the trailer. And when you watch the movie, there's a lot of brightness, there's a lot of color. I really enjoy this movie. As a guy, and I say this because we have talked about fridging women and the uncomfortableness that certain characters portray or put in situation. There's a scene where Ewan McGregor, who makes the girl stand on the table and dance.
Yeah.
That was very uncomfortable.
That was very uncomfortable.
And that's one of those things where you're watching this movie that it got real. And it got dark. And it's weird to say that in the context of this movie because there's a lot of darkness in it. There was a moment, and when Ewan McGregor was slapping Margot Robbie when she was tied up, it was a little too weird and almost too real. And again, I'm comparing it to, and I don't mean to. It was like that with Joker to a certain extent, where Joker, you were like, should I be watching this? Those were two moments in the movie I was like, I would really like to hear from the director and the writer, who were both women, why they took those choices in this movie. And would we still be asking these questions? We would have definitely jumped on them if they were men who had done that. If a man had directed this movie and made those two choices, we'd have been pitchforks and everything. Why would you? So I wonder why the choice was to do that as women in these movies. What was the point of those two scenes? Because I literally felt uncomfortable and looked away a little bit when that woman got on that table.
And it's a credit to the writer and the director, because I don't know who the actress is, but she slowly gets undressed, and she's not completely undressed.
She doesn't get undressed. Her clothes are forcibly cut off of her.
Yeah, sorry, they're cut off of her. But they shoot it in such a way that it's not salacious, so that you're looking at this girl in her underwear. Yeah. And I think it's very tastefully done. I
disagree.
I think it hurts, but I think it could have been even worse if you had to see her in her underwear. And I think that could have been an option somebody would have done.
And that's why I said I wonder what the point of that was, because we've talked about this. The difference between Patty Jenkins having the Amazons and Wonder Woman versus how they look versus how Zack Snyder.
Right. I was like, man, y'all lost some clothes.
Yeah, like, wait, what?
Did it get hot off the mascara?
Like, global warming?
Yeah.
Mascara? Where's Greta?
Yeah.
So I really, those two scenes, and I said to myself, if this was a guy directing this, they'd be from high heaven, upset. My question is, what was the why did they make those choices? Now, granted, Ewan McGregor sealed it as Black Mass being absolutely insane. But this is the thing. I would have understood a little bit more if that had been Zaz who had done it. And maybe that's where my problem with it comes.
So you didn't feel? Well, go ahead.
No.
What about when he cut the guy's face off?
Zaz?
Yeah.
Oh, that was see. That's why I was like, that's the Zaz I know.
Okay.
So I kind of wanted Zaz, and that's why I said I'm trying to sort out my feelings about this, and as this goes up, and then you guys comment, we have this conversation in the chat section. I kind of want to, and that's kind of when I wanted Lorna and Anna Grace to watch it, so it just wouldn't be two guys talking about it, because
Sure.
I wanted to hear from a woman's opinion how they felt about that.
Yeah.
Our buddy Destiny did a review. Her video's up right now from KGW. Check out her review. She liked the movie as well. She has a different take, so check out that review as well. Shameless plug. But that was my problem with that I was like, right now with 2020 eyes, if a guy had done that, we'd have been clamoring for his job, and I feel like we should be asking those same questions. And we shouldn't be trying to cancel anybody, but I do believe we should be critical of women directors and writers, because I'd like to know what was the point of those two scenes.
Well, I think the point was to show how twisted Ewan McGregor was. Like, that's what I got from it.
True, I understand that, but I guess my point is it was almost, and again, I might just be too sensitive. It could be, but I was like, to me, that went a little too far. And the standing on the table and the slapping Harley when she was already in the chair, I don't know, it was the way it was framed. It just seemed like, okay, did that go a little too far? And maybe that's just me.
Okay.
So again, I'd like to know your guys' opinion. We can have a conversation. Let's all be respectful, you know.
While you guys are checking out Destiny, when you guys come back to us, you can see us here on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, WOTX.com. There we go. Yeah.
Got it in there?
Yeah.
But I will say this, even though with all the little criticisms that I have, I really enjoyed this movie. It moved. I really liked the aesthetic of it. And when the women got together, they were hilarious. Whenever Harley was with one of her adversaries, she chewed up the scenery. When she was with Detective Montoya, she was hilarious. When she was with Journey, she was hilarious. When she was with Huntress, just those interactions and those moments, this is a funny movie. The part where when Detective Montoya told her not to move, and she...
Yeah, that was good. That was just stabbing Zaz. That was cool.
I lost it.
That was really good.
And then she kept doing this. She was like,
yeah. I like that she was able. We actually get to see her use her psychology degree a little bit.
Yes.
To kind of psychoanalyze people. Like, oh yeah, that is right. You are smart.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily get to see it all the time, but like, I can kind of see now how you're able to move through society, because even though you may be an a-hole when you had Joker, even though you're without him now, you can still kind of read people to a certain extent because you have that background. It was cool to see that in the movie.
I also like the fact that she realized that there's something wrong with her. She told Cassandra Cain, Ella J, when she says, she's like, I want to become you. She's like, honey, in order to be me, you have to go to school, fall in love with a patient, get your heart broken, go to work at a mental asylum, fall in love with a patient, help said patient escape, go on a life of crime, get captured, save the world. So she mentioned Suicide Squad, save the world, get broken out of jail by said psychotic boyfriend, break up with said she really went through like that. And you realize, oh, you're not just a pretty face. You're not just a psycho. You are damaged. And you see that, the dichotomy of that. And I really appreciated that. It really gave her a voice that we had never seen in any other iteration, probably outside of the comics. And even, I'll be honest with you, but the comics sometimes doesn't do a good job of explaining and telling us who Harley is. I'm
curious how she's portrayed by Kaylee Cuoco on the stream DC Universe All Access, because I've heard that cartoon's really good. I'm curious how she's portrayed on that.
I will say that as I look at the cast, and hot take, I'll be honest with you, I don't want Birds of Prey to get their own movie, because I don't think they can carry it. I don't think Journey Smollett, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and Rosie Perez can carry this franchise by themselves without Margot Robbie. I don't see it. There wasn't enough there for the three of them to go off on their own to do their own movie. I think there's enough there for the five of them to do their own movie again.
Sure, yeah.
But I don't think that I don't think that you can get a Harley Quinn movie and a Birds of Prey movie separately. The way they created and crafted this movie, to me it's not possible. Now, if they would have done more of the superhero route with the three of them, maybe. Kind of like what Marvel does. And I don't like to compare them, but I think in order for it to work, you need a Margot Robbie.
Yeah. As soon as they introduced the Black Canary, I was like, are we going to get a canary cry? Are we going to get a canary cry? We only got one. I wanted more.
Two.
We got two?
In the bar.
That was just her singing.
That was her singing, but that was the cry. That was.
You talking about her singing to Crack the Glass?
Yeah.
I just got that as her being a good singer.
Nah, you don't crack glass if you just sing.
Opera singers can do it.
When was the last time that happened? Show me on the video.
I'm just saying, opera singers can
I'm not
crack
saying
glass.
they can't do it. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I felt like we got two.
All right.
So
we got maybe two.
yeah. 1.5.
1.5 canary cries. But either way, I would have wanted more canary cries.
Beyonce,
personally.
man.
How you say what?
Did
Did you come after the queen?
Nope, didn't say it.
Now we're going to get negatives on this video, man. We were doing so good. Now
I'm only mad because Lauren wasn't here to defend this because I wanted Lauren to be here for that.
Yeah.
That's my only issue with that I don't want to say only. Those are my issues with the movie, but all in all, I really enjoyed it. I laughed. I thought it was great. I thought the way they used... This is another thing I think Deadpool broke the mold, breaking that fourth wall, using graphics, talking to the people. I think this, as well as Deadpool, and Into the Spider-Verse, have shown you could put a literal comic book on screen and it works.
Yeah, sure.
And those movies, if you like Deadpool, this is the best praise I can get it. If you like Deadpool, this is just as good, if not better, than those. That's what I liken it to. The way they craft this tale, the way they tell it, the humor, the adult humor that they use, bar none, it's up there in the pantheon with Deadpool.
Okay. You said those, so were you referring to Deadpool and Into the Spider-Verse or just Deadpool?
Deadpool and Into the Spider-Verse. The way they use graphics, the way they shot it. Because we kept talking about the action and the fight scenes zooming out. I feel like that's what Into the Spider-Verse did. Showed us a side of these movies and gave us an actual comic book movie on screen.
So, is this up there for you? You like this as much as Into the Spider-Verse?
No, Spider-Verse is in a category all in its own.
Oh, okay.
Spider-Verse is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, there's nothing there. We have never seen anything like Into the Spider-Verse. I don't know if we will see anything like it. I mean, we're going to get a 2. I don't know how you. I mean, you can do the same thing, but Into the Spider-Verse broke the mold. And I think the door was cracked a little bit by Deadpool because of how they were able to play with the camera, play with storytelling, and actually talking directly to the person. Mm-hmm. Is it Sunset Boulevard that starts off? What's the movie where the guy is dead at the beginning of the movie and he's like, yep, that's me.
Oh, geez, I don't know.
Oh, I'm trying to remember. It's on the tip of my tongue, but it's like one of the greatest detective Hollywood movies because the guy is dead and he's basically telling you how he died and how he got there.
Okay. That's it for us, right?
I think so.
Yeah, go see the movie. There you go.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's go see the movie.
And honestly, we need people to go see it because I would love a sequel. I really want a sequel. Mm-hmm. I just don't know if it's going to get the dollars behind it to get it. And again, just a small sample size. You said you saw it with 20 people. Mm-hmm. I don't know how ticket sales are doing. I have to look this up. And as you guys see the movie and it goes, there were 3 people in my movie theater. And that's a rarity for these kind of movies. Especially for the first one to kick off the new year.
Yeah.
I really thought there's nothing else going on.
Well, I mean, the first superhero movie of the new year was Bad Boys 3.
No, Bad Boys 3 is his own category. Oh, Bad Boys 3, $300 million movie.
Cool.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Y'all did that.
Yeah.
Y'all supported Will Smith and what's the other guy name? He old now?
Martin Lawrence.
Thank you. I forgot who he was.
Oh, he's 3 years older than Will Smith.
Nah. Will Smith ain't age, y'all.
Okay.
Will Smith is a walking Gemini man.
Okay. On that, you can like, comment, subscribe here. I'll plug it again. You can find us here on YouTube, also Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, WOTX.com. And we're out.